Alrighty. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we can get everybody back here. I apologize about that. So we are just closing off here our practice session, about to get ready to go into qualifying for our GT4 finale. Really excited to see what the guys have in store for us today. So as we get ready here for our qualifying session, let me find and read out the points that we're looking at here. So, in Division 2, we have Jeremy Engelman, aka Jet, the liverer, master liverer, nearing his own number, 734 points, leading Justin Beachley at 638. So, pretty well locked up for Mr. Engelman. You know, it must be said that through the season, Jet's found some incredible speed driving the Maz nonetheless. I think he's just been putting the work in, finding the pace, understanding the car, figuring out what it means not to have traction control in ABS, and that's really transferred over to his GT3 pace and driving the Lamborghini. Incredible. Such a big pace difference between him and the other GT2 drivers, which admittedly wasn't the case at the start of the season. You know, he was well stapled in the middle of the pack, but this new pace that he's found has been incredible through the season. So credit to him. You go, girl. Good job. Been awesome to watch you do so well. So as we see these guys ramping up for their first flyer, Oh, that Camaro looks so mean. Really cool. So we have 5 minutes of qualifying for Div 2 and then 5 minutes of qualifying for Div 1. So you'll see these guys came out their out lap, got their tires as warm as you really can, which is not perfect for their first lap out. Put a safe lap down, hopefully, for their first hot lap, and then really a smoke show of a lap for the second one, hopefully for all. Yeah, well, it's been phenomenal to have such a great field of GT4 cars. I don't know if it's true, but potentially one of the largest GT4 leagues in North America. It's great to have such a good community supporting an amazing field, and not just a good community, but a whole bunch of fast boys too. So makes it some really exciting racing to watch in both divisions. Really competitive, and it's been made possible with the love and support from you, the 949 guys, of which we will be eternally grateful and continually grateful. It's been so awesome, kind of feeding off of you guys, and hopefully having some of our drivers come your way as well. We've had the pleasure of working with you, and we'll continue to do so. It's been awesome. You guys are awesome. So, how are we looking here? Let's see. Iglesias coming in with his hot lap of a 156.3. Let's see if we could, here we go. All right, figured out the buttons to press. So, Bravo trumping it with a 154. Roscoe coming in second place, finding some pace through the season. Pickrell and trumping that second. Was coming in third. Let's follow Was a bit. Let's go in car. So Mr. Wassam, aka Constable Cody, as we lovingly call him, been putting a lot of focus on iRacing lately. Him and the gang have been putting together some amazing performances in some of the special events over in iRacing, and gearing up for the Nürburgring 24. Oh boy, is that going to be an uphill challenge. So for those that are attending and partaking, both in whichever server you're on and whichever crew you're on, it's going to be amazing. The best of luck to you guys. So excited to see what the outcome's going to be for all of our friends. Was comes to the chicane here. Caught out many a Formula One racing driver, but not Constable Cody, the level-headed, still handed Constable Cody. As he goes to the penultimate corner. And let's see what this lap has to offer for him as our Div 1 drivers head out and warm their ever so cold tires up. Good only for third, as Robert Lewis pips the charts at 153. Robert Lewis, aka Beltan, from the lovely 949 Sim Racing community, showing his innate pace here at Imola. Let's switch cams here. Oh, that's an incomplete lap for him. While he's on a... Oh, just finishes his next lap and does not improve upon his time. So, in Div 2, we have Robert Lewis, Jose Bravo, Cody Wassam, Andrew Pickerel, I think it's Armando Iglesias. I'm sorry, Iglesias. I forget your first name. I apologize for that. Tanner Masters, Dave Ward, Santiago Orozco, Andy Oak, Frank Barnes, aka Barney. Rounding off with Engelman not putting in a time. Wonder what happened there with Versosa and Smith as well, failing to put in a time, but not sure what happened there. Hopefully, well, the good thing is they have 3 chances tonight, given that it's a triple header. So the one race or one qualifier will not ruin the night, but could potentially be a bad start considering they'll be starting from the back. Let's hop into Padberg and the McLaren here. Good, a little bit of TV cam. Young Mr. Padberg coming in with great pace, but still working on some of his racecraft. Gets himself into what we like to call the vortex of danger one too many times, but showing some improvement in the last race and hopefully some more today. So excited to see what this young lad has to offer to both his pace at Imola and the future of sim racing. In the lovely left-hand Brewing Beach GT McLaren. Oh, okay. I misspoke earlier. Given Mr. Engelman's newfound pace, he's been allowed to qualify in the Div 1 session, so rightfully so. He's miles away. He's gotten some crazy speed over the last couple of races, and then some. As we see either Riley Manier or Snyder in the back, they're going a little wide, a little ambitious on that exit over there. So why don't we follow him now for a couple of turns? Well, he's in the back. Let's go back to Padberg, or let's go to Reggie. Reggie King in the lovely Nutella sim racing livery, already making me hungry. Hey, Justin. I expect that you're trying to make your way home as soon as possible. There we go, as we say it. So, first lap out, Riley Manier invalidates his second lap with a 1:52.5. Padberg 1:52.6. Neutral on his lap right now. Not much to gain, so will not be improving on that lap. Mastachero, Mr. Diego Mastachero, 1:53.2. And then, who else do we have? Andreas, really the one that we're looking out for to see if he shows any improvement, being the one that is really in the big contention with Riley. Does not improve on his time. Ends his lap. Who else do we have? Snyder. On track yet. Ends. Does not show improvement. So, looks like the field is set as the session closes. We have Riley Manier with a commanding lead, and I say that in the sense of the championship, as Andres is in 7th place. Riley Manier first, Padberg, Jakob Padberg second, Kostovic third, Diego Mastachero fourth, Jason Provolone fifth, Derek Snyder sixth, Andres Mastachero coming in 7th, who will desperately want to make his way up or improve in the subsequent races. And then rounding up the first group of Div 1 drivers is Mr. Chronotis. And we have rain, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, could we any more artificially set up a more exciting finale here at Trackless Sim Racing? Was it deliberate? I don't know. One of the guys who set up the server must have had their finger on the button. It was a dry qualifier, so we do try to make it random, but we do have weather at Trackless Sim Racing, so this is going to be an exciting one. Let's do a quick grid walk and do our best version of Martin Brundle and whoever else in F1 does their lovely grid walk. So let's start with the pole position. Riley Minier leading the championship by only 4 points, but placing himself really well to benefit of the difference between his position and Andres Masachero in 7th place. We have the Left Hand Brewing in 2nd place. Beachley headed home right now to try and get another car on track for our 2nd or 3rd races, so great position there. Joseph Kostovich, 949 Sim Racing, one of the legendary admins from that community in his lovely 949 livery, getting himself into 3rd position. Always a challenger, always looking to improve. It's going to be a good one. Coming in 5th, a really good place for Provolone. Not that I lack his talent, but has found himself a little bit lower in the field through the season. I'm sure through lack of practice and some hardware issues I've heard. So great position for him in 5th spot. And then right behind him, or next to him, we should say, is Jarek Snyder, teammate of Riley Minier. I'm sure will be in cahoots to ensure that the success of his fellow teammate and formerly my teammates. I used to be on that team before I had to cast, but best of luck to them. Masachero in the lovely livery, as we repeatedly say, the Naps updated Naps 2.0 livery. Oh, I guess I never noticed the little spider in the back there. I wonder what that represents. Spider or ant? Looks more like an ant than a spider, I guess. Then we go to the neutral Chronotis livery. Let's quickly run through the rest of the field. Engelman in the black and red Maserati. Robert Lewis, 949 Sim Racing, Mercedes. Jose Bravo and the Tacos Locos. Cody Wassam in the safety car Audi. Partner of Jason Provolone, Reggie King, 44. M. Tansky, Pickerel, Burkhoff, Iglesias, Masters, Ward, Orozco, Oak, Barney. I'm pretty sure that's Versosa, and then we come to the back with, I think it's either Smith, P, or Ward. Who do we have here? Let's scroll down. So we have Smith and Denny P. Ward's not racing with us today. That's unfortunate. But the lovely Slow Car Club livery in the back here. Alrighty, and we're off. Doc Deeps, thank you for the follow. Sorry, I just noticed that. Appreciate. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Hope you're enjoying the stream so far. We're about to dive into the action right now. Gonna see. Oh, and we have Padberg off on the side. That's not a good way to start, Mr. Jakob. We're trying to promote your safety on track, not your randomness off of it. So hopefully that'll be the end of those mistakes. His real question is, what tires have these guys selected? In that it is showing rain and then more rain coming up. It's going to be interesting to see what the situation is. Oh, we have Wassam, who hasn't started. What's going on in the pits? Yikes! This is already shaping up to be an interesting race. We haven't even gotten started. As these guys start to get their tires closer to the operating window, they will not get it there. It's very difficult to get your tire temps up in GT4. Usually takes 2 laps and then some, but an outlap almost certainly will be very difficult to get the tire temps up. And 15-minute race. Rain right now. Rain in 5 minutes. Less just changed on us. No rain in 15 minutes. So that is going to be interesting as we see the track dry up. And curious to know how it's going to affect these drivers and their tires. One thing that we can comment on, and we've seen time and time again, and hopefully we don't curse him in saying so, but Riley Menier is a wizard when it comes to his setup choices. Looks like he had a bit of an issue back there. What is going on? Races his way back to the front as they come through. Intentional? I'm not so sure, but he's back up there, and we're about to go green. And we're green, green, green. Padberg gets a good start. Riley, not bad himself, keeping the inside. He's going to have the inside going into the first corner. Kosovic, not bad. A little bit farther behind, but Diego Masachero, much better start than Kosovic, taking on that third spot. Riley goes deep into the grass. Must be some sort of an issue there. I wonder what is going on. Falls into 5th place as Diego Masachero takes the lead, followed by Padberg, Kosovic, Snyder, Provolone, and then now we have Menier and Masachero back to back fighting for position and the championship alike, as we see Chrono going a little bit wide, the wet weather throwing everybody in for a loop here. Masachero taking the inside line. Well, there must be an issue. Riley must have had a problem. I'm not sure whether he chose the wrong tires or what it is, but we definitely see a problem going on here with Riley Menier. Falls down to the 7th spot behind Andres Masachero, a spot that he really doesn't want to be in with his excellent qualifying that he showed. I want to guess that he's on dry tires. It must be that lack of pace is not something we typically see from Riley Menier. But Snyder, his teammate, making up good ground, coming up into 3rd place as Diego Masachero pulls the lead and keeps continuing to build that gap. Kostovic, Snyder fighting for the 3rd place position, followed by Provolone, Masachero, and Padberg. Padberg makes his way through Masachero's spot as we see Chrono getting a little bit loose in the back there. Keeping with this bunch over here, Snyder, Kostovic, and Snyder, a big send. Is he going to be able to keep it? That's a good attempt. Unfortunately, we did not have any contact, but definitely testing the limits of grip on that BMW as he gets a big run on the straight here, choosing not to take too much time on the advantage of the draft because BMW has so much power, has the inside line to Kostovic as Mr. Diego Masachero continues to build that gap as these two battle. Snyder making his way into 2nd place. He's going to be able to find the perfect braking spot in the rain. He is able to do so. A little bit of curbing, maybe a bit too much, but is able to maintain that 2nd spot as Jason Provolone comes in, tucks in right behind Mr. Kostovic. As Kostovic, a little bit of a slide there, not enough for Provolone to take advantage, but really tight, heated battle back here. As we see Riley dropping down to 9th, even lower, 10th, 12th. Is he in the pits? Nope, just drop him down. He must be on dry tires. Hey, Cardo, hope you're doing well. Crazy battles going on right now, as we've mentioned. Riley Menier in the lead of the championship with by only 4 points to Andres Masachero. Poor strategic decision, seems to have picked dry tires over the wets for most of the drivers and falling behind from pole position all the way down to 12th, but still challenging Iglesias with Engelman right behind. This pack is really, really tight. Let's go back, see Padberg pushing Chrono for the 5th place. A little bit of room here, so let's see what's going on with Provolone. Provolone fighting for the 3rd spot with Kostovic. Kosti in the Mercedes is going to have some really good straight line speed, but not quite sure how they both work out in the wet. So Diego Masachero doing an excellent job. We've seen his improvement week in, week out through the season, taking up that first spot, and continuing to build a gap now up to 4 seconds as Snyder tries to settle in and finds the pace, trying to build a gap himself to the 3rd and 4th place position as Provolone continues to pressure Kostovic for that 3rd spot. Let's hop into the car with him and see how it is going. As you see the spray coming up from the Mercedes, trying to take advantage of that slipstream behind the Mercedes in this long straight at Imola. A little bit of accordioning. I'm sure that's what do you call it? A ping deal, but both managing to make it through the corner with no issues. Provolone getting a much better exit, trying to find his way alongside Kostovic. Is he going to be able to make it? No, backs off. Provolone, a really level-headed, smart driver, choosing to. Kosti makes yet another mistake. There must be a setup issue with the Mercedes as Provolone's finding some really good pace to challenge Kosti for that 3rd spot. Snyder now building quite a significant gap, so let's hop back. Looks like we have a drive-through penalty for Cody Wasserman in the bottom there, but we'll be able to follow that in a little bit. So Riley Menier being challenged by Bravo, but Riley coming back at him, getting a good exit. There must be, as they come really close, follow this drag race to the to turn 9, I believe it was, as they drive right into Acqua Minerale, headed up the hill to go to the chicane Variante Alta. And Bravo just taking off. Riley Menier falling even farther back. Now Burkhoff getting into the mix back here as Padberg and Andres are fighting for 6th position. Andres showing his pace, trying to push Padberg. Great move. Padberg going wide. Andres taking advantage of the situation. Clean move. Padberg making yet another mistake, trying to see if Burkhoff is able to take advantage of that yet again, trying to get the draft as they go into the long straight yet again, seeing if that's going to play out for Mr. Burkhoff. Mike, a really smart driver, is going to take advantage of that draft as long as possible and trying to push Mr. Padberg into a mistake. Ooh, breaks quite deep, but is able to stay in it. So let's continue following this group of drivers. Padberg trying to come back at Masachero. Rear damage. Maybe Cardo, but I don't know if rear damage would put Riley all the way down to 13th spot, 14th spot now, and continuing to move down. There must have been something else going on. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna mess up your balance for sure, not having that rear in the wet nonetheless. So Mr. Burkhoff continuing to apply pressure onto young Jakob Padberg. Is he going to stay ahead? Burkhoff looking like he has the inside. A lot of curb. Is that going to give Padberg the opportunity to get the better exit as they go into the penultimate corner? Side by side drag race between the Mini McLaren and the Monster Camaro. Where are they going to end up? Padberg going wide of the offline. Is he going to be able to break it in time? Yes. Fortunately, he does not make an error coming back onto the track. Smart move by Padberg. I'm sure he's going to find the pace. Now, let's pop back into the race ahead here. The battle between Masachero and Kosovic. Qualifying in third position, coming under pressure from seventh qualifier Masachero. So looks like Masachero, Andreas had some pace in hand and is showing it in the race here. Kosovic seems to have a couple of issues as well. So are you referring to Kosti having rear damage potentially, or was that Riley? Not sure. But these two now making it ahead of Provolone. Provolone going really slow for some reason. Must have had an incident up ahead, promoting Chronotis into third position as Kosovic and Masachero rounding out fourth and fifth. Provolone tucking in behind in sixth position, but I'm sure we'll be challenging yet again. Diego Masachero still in first place with a 7-second gap to Snyder. 3-second gap to Chronotis. 1-second gap to Kosovic, and Masachero pressuring within half a second to 949's Joseph Kostovic in the Mercedes. Getting a really nice exit from Masachero. A little bit squirrely in the back for Kosti over there. Coming side by side. Kosti having the inside line. And being able to take advantage of that as they go through Acqua Minerale, going up the hill. Back to Variante Alta. I might be mistaken in where my position is. No, we're in the right part of the track. Really difficult chicane over here, but Andres Masachero finding his way through Kosovic. Now on the hunt towards Professor Chronotis. A little bit of gap to make up yet, and Kosti going to take advantage of that slipstream all the way in the back here, and I'm sure through the front straight, and trying to see if he can maximize the straight line speed of the Mercedes as we go through this long straight in the front. Well, he's still finding it difficult. He's not close enough to keep that advantage as he drops behind now, 0.9 seconds behind Andres, looking like he's cooling his tires offline. And Burkhoff pressuring Provolone for the sixth spot. Woo! Let's go down. Let's go down and see what's going on here. Riley Manier in 13th position, being pressured by Reggie King. Not a usual spot for Riley. I think he's expecting. So now that we have the dry, is this going to play in favor to Riley's setup? Does he have dry tires? Is there going to be enough time for him to make up any spots? But the track is wet. With only 4 minutes left. May he have made an incorrect call? Did we commentator curse him by saying that he was good strategically? What happened? Hopefully we'll find out after the race. But not a good start for him tonight. In his challenge for the championship, as Andres Masachero making his way up to 4th place and him dropping down to 13th with only a 4-point gap between the two. Let's look at what else is going on track as these two continue to challenge, as Riley finding a little bit of pace now, challenging Robert Lewis for the 12th spot. Going back to Provolone, it looks like Burkhoff has taken that spot from Provolone, and now challenging Kosovic up ahead. Kosti with a little bit of a gap, but not too much. Going down, let's look at some other battles. Tansky challenging the Brazilian livery Andy Oak. Porsche on Porsche battle. Tansky really close. Andy Oak making a little bit of a mistake, allowing Tansky to catch up quite a bit here. Yeah, Cardo, Engelman's found some magic. Like, the dude has been rocking it in the Maserati, and that's been translating to his GT3 pace as well. He's been doing fantastic in the Lamborghini. So good for him. Amazing performance, and you love to see it. Love to see progression in the leagues. Love to see progression in our drivers, as Tansky continuing to challenge Andy Oak. Lots of pressure on him. Let's see if they both make their braking spots. Tansky going offline, looking on the inside, but not enough to make that work. He is going to have the draft on the straight. Oak going a little wide, maybe to get a better exit off to the front straight, but Tansky really close now, within 0.3 of a second, trying to maximize that draft behind the Porsche, in the Porsche. Is it going to be enough? Is that going to be enough? Looking on the inside, Tansky looks like potentially cooling his tires a little bit. Now within 0.2 of a second, but not quite enough. Not quite enough. So let's hop back up to Reggie King, who's applying tons of pressure to Riley Manier over here. This is nuts. Oh, we see a car off track. Robert Lewis seems to have made a mistake, or may have had contact earlier, but you hate to see it. Dropping a couple of spots there, giving Riley the much-needed position to keep the battle tight with Andres Mastrachero. Speaking of which, let's pop back up. We have a tight group of people over here. Kostovic to Burkhoff, Burkhoff to Provolone. I feel like one of those Mexican soccer commentators who just never gets able to take a breath. And that's an apex for Kostovic. Getting a really good exit out of the Variante Alta, being able to build a little bit of a gap to Burkhoff. But Burkhoff finding that distance back up, and I'm sure going to be trying to take the advantage of the draft in the straight. Take a breath here. Ruthless 11, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the race. It's crazy. We have 2 more coming up. It's not over yet. 1 minute left, final lap. These guys are going at it till the very last second. Provolone going on the inside, trying to make a move on Burkhoff. Burkhoff trying to maximize the draft. Provolone not getting quite enough. Another little peak. Is he going to be enough? These guys are so close. Burkhoff on the outside. Now going to have the inside, but Kosti has a little bit of distance ahead. Burkhoff getting a little bit farther ahead. Better exit for Burkhoff. Kosti a little bit too much curb. Both Provolone and Kosti and Burkhoff 3 wide into the turn. How's this going to work out? A bit of contact amongst the 3, but not too bad. Trying to be respectful amongst each other. Bumping each other a little bit, but it is okay. They did not take each other out. These guys relentless with each other. Relentless, as you want to see it, challenging to the very last lap, the very last minute. Let's look up ahead and we'll follow this back up. Cronotis, Mastrachero, Snyder. Cronotis finding some pace, getting all the way up to Snyder within half a second. Mastrachero pressuring Cronotis to really build even more point gap as they go into the second and third race tonight to try and clinch the championship. Looks like Mastrachero looks on the inside of Cronotis, is able to take that position away up into 4th place, or 3rd place, I should say, all the way down from 7th. As Manier down into 13th as Reggie King finds a spot and advantage and takes that position. So not a good spot for Manier relative to Mastrachero for the championship. Really good spot for Andres coming in 3rd place right now, pressuring Snyder, looking on that inside. Is he going to be able to take that position as they race right to the finish line? Looks like Snyder's doing his job for his teammate, able to take that 2nd position. Unfortunately, we didn't capture the win from Diego Mastrachero, but what a fantastic performance from Diego Mastrachero as we've seen him improve through the session. Let's go back down and see what's going on here. Looks like Provolone is able to stay ahead as Burkhoff continuing to pressure Kostovic for that 5th, 6th, and 7th positions. What a phenomenal race it's been so far from these guys. Let's pop back down, see who else we have. Another drag race between the Maz and Bravo. Engelman looking like he's maintaining good pace in the wet nonetheless. Wow. This has been exciting. As I'm able to finally take a breath here, let's see what the final positions were. We have Diego Mastrachero taking his first win of the season. Congratulations to Mr. Diego Mastrachero. We'll try to get him into the booth later. Jarek Snyder doing his part for the ETK Racing team, avoiding Andres getting even more points, trying to help his teammate Riley Manier out. Riley Manier being on the back foot now for the 2nd and 3rd races as they are in the heat of the battle for the championship. What a time to make an error. So, first, Diego Mastrachero. 2nd, Jarek Snyder. 3rd, Andres Mastrachero. 4th, Professor Cronotis doing a really good job in the wet here. Jason Provolone coming in 5th. Joseph Kosovich from 949 in the 494 Mercedes in 6th place. Burkhoff in 7th. Padberg in 8th. Iglesias 9th. Bravo 10th. Great position for Bravo. Good performance. Unfortunately, we didn't catch much of his race, but hopefully we'll get some more in the next 2 races. Engelman 11th. King 12th. Menier 13th. Lewis 14th. Tansky 15th. Oak 16th. Pickrell 17th. Roscoe 18th. Masters 19th. Barney 20th. Wassam 21st. Danny P 22nd. Dylan Smith 23rd. Versosa 24th. Ward 25th. And Beachley just popping in to get ready for qualifier number 2. As we see in chat, a little bit of respect amongst drivers. A little bit of a touch between the guys, giving the position back. So really nice to see as we reset for quali number 2. We're going to wait just a minute here as the rain continues at Imola. So we have rain, and then less rain. So what's going to be interesting is how are our Div 1 drivers going to qualify? Does this mean dries or wets? I expect it's going to be wets. I don't think there's enough time for the track to dry up with the number of drivers that are going to be out at the time. But you never know. Oh, you probably do know, but that's probably because you're more informed than I am. Why don't we ask some of the experts in chat? Mr. Huesca, Cardo, exclamation point coach in chat. If you are looking to gain some speed and pace, but most importantly, consistency, exclamation point coach in chat. Cardo Huesca from Cardo Sim Racing School. Cardo Racing School, I should say. CardoRacing.com. A fellow partner here at Trackalicious Sim Racing, who helps us run our lovely extended track guides, which we may be doing one tomorrow or day after to prepare for our... Oh, we've already done a Nürburgring one, so we already have a track guide out there for Nürburgring, so no need to repeat. But yeah, youtube.com/c/trackalicious to go on and see our detailed track guide at Nürburgring for our upcoming finale in GT3. So, sticking with the 917, very appropriately numbered Porsche with Dave Ward in his lovely pastel-colored livery. You know, Cardo, you would think that we would have that all set up, but looks like we don't. That is something that I'll have to take a note of and then make sure we get in order. But more importantly, what I'm sure does work is exclamation point coach. CardoRacing.com. Cardo Huesca. If you are looking to improve your lap times and pace and have hit a wall and can't figure out why, the legend himself in chat. So, Cardo is drying up a little bit, not a lot. Are you going out in wets or dries in Div 1? So wets, and it's tricky to get the pressures right. Okay. So really, the teammates that have a split of Div 2 and Div 1 drivers might be at a bit of an advantage. Oh, as Ward goes really wide, making a mistake through Aqua Minerale. Right. See the strategy. See, these are the types of 5-head moves that I simply do not have the brain capacity for. But if you want to learn these tricks of the trade, Mr. Huesca is the man. So, let's see who is putting on a hot lap right now. Let's go to Mr. Bravo. Let's try it see a little bit more of the cockpit here. Beachley coming in the top with a 2001, Roscoe 2008, and then no clean laps from the rest of the drivers, as I'm sure they will be trying to do it. I'm not sure who you're referring to, Cardo. Roscoe invalidating his lap will not get another chance. So we see these guys try to make it through the ever challenging. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure who we're looking at that potentially got disqualified. It could be a quality ban. Potentially. I think that's how we do it. So, looking at the lap times, Robert Lewis topping the Div 2 with 158.2. Cody Wassam 158.3, just missing the top spot by a tenth. Pickrell 159.5. Beachley 2001. Glad you could make it, Justin. Orozco with a 208. Really nice tight field here. And then Dylan Smith 2026. The others not getting their laps in, as we see someone else get a lap in. Ward completing his lap. Only good enough for 7th. Barney still on a hot lap. Where does that put him? Looking like a decent time. Only good enough for 9th. And that rounds off Bravo not being able to put a valid time in. Ending up at 15th. So let's go to our Div 1 driver. Snyder leading the pack. So they're going to get 2 laps, this being their first hot lap. Jarek Snyder leading the pack. Seems like closely followed by Cronotis and then probably one of the Masachero brothers. Yep, Diego Masachero. Ah, Tanner, you legend, you. Thank you so much. 3 months. What a legend. Thank you so much, bud. You are a legend. I'm not going to call you a scholar. I'm going to call you a driver. You're a legend and a driver. Thank you so much. JQ, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you are having a great night. Hope everybody's having a good night and enjoying the stream as we're getting our last qualifying lap in here. Snyder, is that good enough to get him somewhere on the board as he comes through the finish line? Only good enough for a 1:59.2. Diego Masachero trumping the charts with a 1:56. Wow, that's a monster lap. James, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Hope you guys are having a fantastic night as we are finishing up our last lap of our second race tonight. 2 out of 3. Second qualifier in the heat of battle for the GT4 Div 1 Championship. BMX Star !Discord will give you our Discord link, and if you join there, the admins will be happy to let you join the championship. Unfortunately, you won't be able to join this very race. It is a closed race as we do have a entry list, but this is the last race of the season, and we will be starting our new season in only a couple of weeks, so please join us. What is going to turn into a multi-class GT4, GT3 championship on Thursday nights. We are really excited. It's going to be crazy out there. So, going back to the race, Padberg topping the charts, not able to put a second lap on. Masachero in second place. Diego Masachero in second place, invalidated. Chrono invalidated in fourth. Kostovic going up. Looks like he's done as well. So, do we have our leader list? I'm sure Manir is out there trying to put another time down. So, let's follow him. So, for those of you who weren't here earlier, we have Riley Manir currently leading the championship with only 4 points gap to Andres Mastachero. And it was crazy. Riley never makes a mistake. We haven't seen him do it. But in the last race, in the first race of tonight, seemed to have made an error in strategy, whether it was dry tires or damage or whatever it was. Came in 13th place with Andres coming in third. So that points difference is going to be huge for this championship battle as we go into race 2 and soon followed by race 3. So qualifier, hopefully he's able to put a good time down. Riley Manir coming in third place as Andres is not able to put down a valid lap. You can't write this stuff, guys. It's crazy. So now the tables have turned. Riley Manir in only third place, qualifying way higher than Andres will. Andres is going to be starting on the back foot, and he's going to have a tall task to make it all the way up to 13th position, potentially to close up that gap yet again, assuming that Riley doesn't make a mistake. So why don't we take this opportunity to walk through the field? Thank you, everybody who's joined us. Kamikaze, thank you so much for the follow. I'm going to take this opportunity to walk through the grid and show you guys what we got here. So let's press drive here and hopefully do good streaming things as opposed to bad streaming things, and go to the pole sitter, Jakob Padberg. Young Mr. Jakob doing a fantastic job. Showed his pace in the first race, however making mistakes, showing his age a little bit. We're hoping to see that improve in this race as we see him hopefully build a gap to Diego Masachero, who I'm sure will be doing his best to keep Riley Manir behind in the interest of building that points, minimizing that points differential to to Andres, who's going to be working his way through the field. So lovely livery from the Naps team. Great job of Acius, who created that livery for them. So Riley Manier able to make up from his mistake in the last race. Not quite sitting in pole as he was in the last race. Canotas showing yet again some really good pace at the track and really good wet pace, followed by Jason Provolone in fifth position. The 949 representative, one of two representatives, sitting back to back over here as we see the two lovely livery 949 cars. Exclamation point 949, for those of you who don't know, an amazing community. What a bunch of fantastic drivers. Insane pace from coming in from that server and from that league. So both Kosovic and Robert Lewis, the legends from 949, coming in at 6th and 7th position, followed by Cody Wasson showing some good pace that we know he has. Great to see him up here in 8th place. Reggie King coming in 9th. Engelman wrangling that no traction control, no ABS Maserati within the top 10. Congratulations. That's a fantastic position for him. Jarek Snyder in 11th. Andrew Pickrell in 12th. And Justin Beachley joining us as he rushed his way home to try and make the races tonight in 13th spot. Andy Oak, the lovely Brazilian Porsche. Tanner Masters, as we saw him give us a little bit of a sub there. Thank you so much, Tanner. Looking good on track in 15th position. Then we have Versosa in the solo driving Alpine here. Lovely livery from him as well. Representing more Brazilians on track. Love to see the diversity here. Jose Bravo. Nope, I'm sorry. Santiago Orozco out qualifying his teammate. Great job, Santiago. Knew you had it in you. Just had to show it. Then we have Barney in 18th. We're going to rush through the rest of this a little bit. Smith in 19th. Ward in 20th. Bravo in 21st. I'm sure he's going to make his way up a little bit more than that. Tansky, 22nd. Iglesias, 23rd. Mastachero in 24th. The championship contender, missing out on qualifying. For some reason, must have invalidated both his laps, but he is going to be fighting tooth and nail to make it through the pack and make up that points difference that he just gained in the first race. You can't write this stuff, guys. This is crazy. It's going to be an exciting race. We're going to watch him through the race here. And then we see, who is this? Is this Burkhoff? Burkhoff, 25th. Not a usual spot for him. Tends to have some qualifying problems, but great race pace. So we'll see him work his way through the field as well. And Denny P closing off the field here in a 26th position. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Second race of the night, 2 of 3. Craziness going on as the championship battle continues between Riley Manier and Andres Mastachero, with Kosovic still in the mix as well. If Kosovic is able to consistently put a great position on all three and these guys continue to make mistakes, there might be a chance for him to come through and win the championship. Unfortunately, our 4th place contender Ali Raza was not able to make it. Ali, really unfortunate for our viewers tonight, as Ali is an incredible racer, very consistent and a worthy contender for the championship, but real life responsibilities coming into play. So well, let's take a breather here as they set themselves up. Looks like we have a drier race for race number 2. Fast track as the water's washed off all of the rubber laid down. This cannot get more exciting. You know, typically I would complain about not being on the field myself, but the view that we're getting, the competition that we're getting is so exciting. Tonight is a night that I don't mind being behind the microphone. Again, for those of you who haven't been here before, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We have an incredible competition for the championship, the Div 1 championship, with Andres Mastachero only 4 points behind Riley Manier, coming in 3rd place in the previous race, with Riley all the way down in 13th. Seems like the roles have been reversed in race number 2, with Riley Manier in 3rd or 4th position, I should say, qualifying 4th, and I think he qualified 3rd. It's just that's just them on the outlap, but qualifying 3rd, and Andres all the way down in the back, having to fight his way through the field. All the risk that he has to go through. Is he going to get taken out? Is there going to be a problem? He only has 15 minutes in this triple header format to try and make it as far up through the field as possible. Riley does have a challenge, and Andres' teammate, but not only his teammate, but his brother will be trying to block Riley from making his way from the third position all the way to first. What is going to happen? We are about to find out with only seconds left in the outlap as we are in the front straight. These guys lining up to go through what is going to be undeniably an exciting race. Padberg, Diego, Riley, Chrono, all lined up to go, about to cross the start-finish line, about to go green, and we are racing at Imola. Green, 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 go, go, go. Diego gets a really good start. Riley gets a decent start as well, as these three are definitely going to be challenging for the first corner. Riley going on the inside. Padberg going in for the block. Riley early move to try and get that position. Diego not giving up so easily, but Riley able to maintain it. Unfortunately for Diego, Riley wins out in that battle. Not able to block Riley for the championship, or I should say for his brother's championship points. But not only his, but Diego's would be wanting to fight for the lead as well. So we have Padberg, Riley Menier, Kostovic finding his way into third position, as Diego Masachero challenges him for that third place spot. The timing chart's going a little bit crazy. These go really close wheel to wheel. A bit of a bump there, but no harm, no foul. Kosti losing the spot a little bit. That could be put into contention in the incident report. We'll find out, but Kosti able to keep a level head as the guys behind him close up. Padberg and Riley driving away a little bit from this group over here, but we have Diego Masachero, Joseph Klosovic, Kronotis in the back, Robert Lewis coming in right behind to try and help his friend out and fellow server admin from 949 as Provolone is trying to put some pressure in behind. Let's pop down and see how Masachero fared in that start. So looks like he gained a couple of positions up into 20th. Now trying to work his way through the field. He has Burkhoff up ahead. Burkhoff is going to be making his way forward as well, coming from last place all the way to 19th. Amazing start from Burkhoff over there. Oh, looks like the timing charts are off a little bit actually. Burkhoff behind Masachero. Masachero looking at Tanner Masters, so looks like he's actually a lot farther up ahead than the chart show us. Looks like he might be in 15th or 16th, so let's pop back up in here. Provolone trying to push for Lewis. Lewis on the defensive line as they come to the end of the straight and going way too deep on a fast track. Looks like he's made a mistake. That gives Provolone a position. That gives Pickerel a position. That gives Wassam a position as he tries to do a safe rejoin. King getting the advantage. Snyder getting the advantage. That's a really, really unfortunate move. Snyder trying to make that move work, and he does make it stick. So really unfortunate for Baltan over there. Sorry to have caught that. As we have someone else make a mistake up ahead. Looks like it might have been Provolone breaking way too deep. He's going to have to find himself back on track. Though going back to the lead cars, or I should say the second pack, as Padberg and Manure have made their way and made a little bit of a gap to the cars in this group. So Kosti seems to have found his way ahead of Masachero, Diego Masachero, as Chrono is battling the Aston to Aston wheel-to-wheel battle as they go through the corners. As that's Alco Minerale as they head up to Variante Alta. Diego trying to get a little bit of draft, but Kosti made his way through a little and builds a little bit of gap between himself and these guys and try to hopefully find some paces. Chrono makes a mistake. Diego able to take a little bit of advantage. I'm sure we'll find some speed as they go through this relatively long straight. Gets the inside line. Chrono backing up just a little bit to make sure there aren't any issues with the marbles that he very likely has on his tires. Diego able to secure that fourth spot. So let's pop back up. Let's have a look at what's going on up here. So Padberg has a second lead to Riley Menier. Riley in relatively clean air and no danger of anyone behind. Kostovic in third place. Diego Masachero in fourth. Kronotis trying to stay close behind with only half a second difference between them. And then we have the rest of the pack all trying to make their way through the rest of this race with only 10 minutes left in the race. So Pickrell in sixth spot as he gets some pressure from his fellow iRacing teammate in the Enduros, Cody Wassam, Constable Cody in seventh place. A bit of a gap to Snyder as Snyder finds a spot and takes that position away from Reggie as we just missed that. I apologize. And we see Andres really making his way all the way up to 12th, trying to reduce that deficit from Riley Meir up in second place. 12th spot, a really good spot for him to be going into the final race of this of the night and the final race of the season, as this pack hopefully don't make any mistakes to compromise his position. He's going to be looking to fight through Bravo, who is in the Tacos Locos brightly colored black and yellow BMW in the back. Robert Lewis, a.k.a. Beltan from 949 Sim Racing Community. Reggie King in a good spot in 9th place. And Snyder putting up the blocker for his teammate up ahead in 2nd place. Let's stick with this group, as I'm sure it's going to be an exciting pack. It might have been a little bit of a tap between Masachero and Bravo, but nothing too serious. They're going to remain close. Again, heading up to the final last two corners of the race in Ravazza, in corners 17 and 18. So Snyder able to maintain a good gap. The power of the BMW is going to come to his advantage as to neutralize the disadvantage of having people following him and gaining that draft. But he does have quite a bit of gap to Reggie, so that 0.7 is going to be not so great for Reggie to gain a lot of slipstream going down the straight. However, Andres, on the other hand, is going to have a look, make that move on the inside, and is able to make it stick. Yet another position from Andres, going from 12th to 11th, closing that gap to Riley Meir yet again. The story of the night, the championship on the line between these two guys as they come into the second to last race of the season. Only 4 points between them. Popping back down, another crazy group of cars here as Iglesias looks on the inside. A lot of pressure from Tanner to keep him tight. A little bit of a bump. Again, might have to be reviewed by the stewards later. As teammates, the Maserati teammates, Tanner's and Engelman next to each other here. Tansky making his way through. Another mistake by Masters, unfortunately, as they go through Acqua Minerale. Not Acqua Minerale, but Piratella, should say in my Italian accent if I'm able to imitate it. But now they go through Acqua Minerale as they make their way up to Variante Alta. So Iglesias to Tansky to Engelman to Masters and Orozco and I think Beachley in the back there. All so close to each other. So Tansky going to try and get a little bit of a draft as they go down the hill here to the penultimate corner. Oh, that is so close. But Iglesias able to get a really good exit, and I think will be likely to be able to maintain that position, as I'm sure Engelman's going to try and use the straight line speed of that Maserati to try and get that position, but does seem to have a bit of a gap to the cars ahead. So let's pop back and see what's going on up ahead. So we have Wassam in 6th place, Pickrell in 7th, Snyder in 8th. Looks like Snyder is still in the good spot. That's where he was where we left him. So 3-second gap to the car up ahead, which is Kronotis trying to pressure Diego Masachero. So right now, back to the standings of the race. We have Padberg in first. Riley seems to be keeping really good pace. I know he's going to be hungry. He's going to want to maximize his points. He's going to want to attack Padberg, but Padberg showing some really good pace in qualifying, and he seems to be able to maintain it while Riley keeps pressure behind. Hopefully he does so for the rest of the 6 minutes of this race as we look down to Riley being in second. Kosovic, 5-second gap to the cars ahead. Diego Masachero, yet another 5 seconds as Carnotis is trying to close up that gap to Diego in the matched Aston cars. So another 3.5 seconds to this group that Snyder seems to be catching up to. So now Snyder's going to be putting some pressure onto Pickerel. Looks like he's closed that gap quite successfully, as Andres Masachero now all the way up to 9th place is going to be within this group as well. So why don't we look a little bit farther behind? Let's see how these guys are going to be able to make it through the last couple of laps of this race. Lots of pressure being applied to Pickerel. Snyder really close. Going to be able to take advantage of that draft and the power of the BMW. So double whammy is going to put Pickerel at a disadvantage. Is he going to go on the outside? Is he going on the inside? Choosing the inside line. Being able to pull the car up ahead, side by side, going into what is T2 at... Oh, there's an issue. There's contact. Oh, that's so unfortunate. You hate to see it. I looked away for a split second, missed that, but looked like it was a side-by-side contact to Pickerel's disadvantage. Fortunately for Snyder, no loss for him, but Masachero now hot on his tail yet again, just like the previous race. He is going to be doing his best to keep Masachero behind him in the interest of the championship for his teammate, the driver's championship for his teammate. So we have Wasem up in 6th, Snyder up in 7th, trying to block, do his best blocker, possible blocking that he can, elbows out as much as he can, and try to keep Andres behind him to try and gain the points differential for Riley Manier up ahead. This is going to be crazy last couple of laps for these two drivers over here, as I'm sure Andres is going to be putting a lot of pressure. That's quite the opportunistic line over there, Mr. Masachero. I'm not sure how that one was, but looks like Snyder should be able to stay ahead. So neutral, but really close behind, putting a lot of pressure onto Snyder, trying really hard to get that position back and close up the differential in points between himself and Riley Manier. Snyder doing a great job of using the power of the BMW, not making too big a mistake, a little bit of an error there going to the final corner, but able to stay ahead. Masachero now really trying to use that draft, but the BMW does have the power to its advantage. So is Andres going to be able to tuck in behind close enough to take that inside line? Jarek taking the hugely defensive line, pushing Masachero a little bit on the outside, and not going to be able to make the move here, but great defensive driving from Snyder over there. So looks like the deltas up ahead are relatively safe, no big battles, but we do see a battle brewing between Pickerel, Lewis, and Burkhoff. Pickerel and Burkhoff being on the same team, I'm sure is going to come to somewhat of an advantage if they're in the chat together, but Lewis sandwiched with the TSR drivers, the Trackless Sim Racing drivers here, and trying to keep and maintain that 10th spot as Andres continues to apply pressure to Snyder, as we have battles all the way up and down the field, dropping down Tansky and Iglesias back to back over here, as we see Beachley and Beachley and Orozco back there in a really close battle. Let's pop back up to these lead drivers over here. This is going to be really the one to watch. So Andres doing everything that he can, swerving left, swerving right, trying to find any gap that he can to take advantage of the situation. Now looking on the outside of what's going to be outside of turn 17. A bit of a dummy move. Nope. Now Snyder Snyder makes the mistake and is able to and Masachero able to make up that position. That is quite unfortunate for Snyder, but he does have the draft and the power of the BMW. Is he going to make the move back? Masachero forcing him to the outside. Let's go to Helicam, see what it looks like from the top. He is potentially getting ahead. Masachero does have the inside slightly, but has the inside in the first corner, but the outside in the second corner, but is able to maintain a great exit out of that second corner and stay ahead as Snyder tucks in behind for this really important for the championship battle for 7th position. So it looks like Masachero's done the move. A bit of a mistake, but not enough for Snyder to catch back up and make up that 8th spot. So, or 7th spot, I should say. So great battle between these two. It looks like they were able to maintain a good level of respect between the two drivers. So very excited to see that. And now Masachero's made it all the way back from the back of the field, all the way to 7th position. Yeah, Ruthless, that was awesome to watch. I hope it was as awesome for you as it was for me, because I'm having a great time. Although I'm losing my voice, great time watching these battles through the field. So now Snyder's really going to want to try and see if he could use Wassum's position and maybe a little bit of lack of pace between Wassum and these two guys up ahead to take advantage and maybe take that spot back. So why don't we stick with this pack over here? Nothing crazy happening up front. Riley seems to have made up a little bit of gap between him and Padberg. So Masachero now looking to take advantage of the pace differential and does get ahead. Padberg winning the race. That was the final lap. Munir coming in second, Kostovic third. But the heated battle. So Masachero yet again able to make up another spot right before the end of the race, coming all the way up into 6th position. As he finishes in that position is going to be huge advantage for him in the championship title. Wow, what a crazy battle that was over there. Oh, we got a group going in here in the last corner. Battle between, who are these two? Iglesias and Bravo? Orozco, a really good drag run to the finish, able to take that spot from Iglesias. Yeah, what a drive. What a phenomenal drive from Andres. Phenomenal drive from Andres. Whoa. All right, here's what we're going to do. Let's go and do a bit of calculation here. You're going to be hearing me click some buttons and keys away before we look at what the field looks like. So let's do a quick talk of the field. So we have Padberg in first, Riley Munir second, Kosovic third, Masachero fourth, Kronotas fifth, Andres Masachero sixth, Wassum seventh, Snyder eighth, Pickrell ninth, Lewis 10th, Burkhoff 11th, King 12th, Bravo 13th, Engelman 14th, Beachley 15th, Tansky 16th, Orozco 17th with a great drag race at the end there. Iglesias 18th, Masters 19th, Barney 20th, Versosa 21st, Smith 22nd, Denny P 23rd, Provolone 24th. Something must have gone horribly wrong for him there. And Andy Oak in 25th. Thank you all for sticking around. Hope you're enjoying the show as we get warmed up here to go into our third and final race, not only of the night, but of our GT4 Winter Championship season, as the battle continues to be heated between Riley Munir and Andres Masachero in the Div 1 Championship for GT4. So, 4-point differential between the two. And we had, let's see, run some numbers here. So Riley came in, I believe, 13th in the previous race as people get set up to run their final qualifying session of the GT4 Championship. So 13th is 6 points. And that was a third place finish for Mr. Masachero. In the second race, a second place finish for Riley with 40 points. And then a 6th place, I believe it was, it was 5th for Andres. 28 points. All right. So, going into the final race of the night and the final race of the season, we have the difference between the two being a mere 14 points advantage for Andres Masachero with that phenomenal drive back from the back of the pack. What does this mean? 14 points. Riley Menier needs to come in first place with Andres finishing all the way down to 5th. So 4 position differential will give Riley the championship in this last race of the season. That is a tall order for Mr. Menier, as Andres is not one to make errors twice, nor is Riley. So, are we going to find Riley driving at quote unquote a comfortable pace, as we saw Lewis Hamilton do, to try and back his teammate and championship contender into more lapped traffic? Or is Andres going to out-qualify Riley to be able to solidify his chances, mind you, just chances, to potentially win the GT4 championship? It's all down to qualifying. This last qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, is critical for both drivers to put their best tire forward to be able to maintain position and minimize risk through the last race of the season. With only 15 minutes in the final race, it's going to be quite crazy. All right. Div 2 drivers out on their hot lap. And we are watching Iglesias a little bit wide to T2, but able to maintain a good exit onto the straight over here. So, I know we've been talking a lot about Div 1. Let's pop back down into Div 2. So it seems like with Mr. Beachley having missed the first race and there being a 94-point gap between Jeremy Engelman and Beachley, looks like Mr. Engelman has secured himself the Div 2 championship in our GT4 series, in our winter GT4 series. So, congratulations to Jeremy. And kind of glad that that's the case, in the sense that we're able to focus on the one championship that is really in heated battle here. Thank you all so much for sticking around. Hope you're enjoying the show. If you have any questions in chat, by all means, if I get a chance to take a breath or pop my eyes over to my second screen and read what you have to say, I will gladly answer it. If you are looking for some crazy racing as you're seeing here, join us at Trackalicious Sim Racing, ! Discord, or discord.gg/Trackalicious. We are closing off our GT3, GT4 seasons, but about to start a plethora of exciting leagues, namely Tuesday nights with Box and 949 at 10 p.m. Eastern. We have the M2 Porsche Cup Mixed Class Championship. Oh boy, is that going to be exciting. All of us excited to see some of the crazy racing we're going to get in mixed class. And trying out the new DLC. Really excited to see that. On Thursday nights, we will be doing 8:30 p.m. Eastern mixed class GT3 GT4 championship. So as if this racing wasn't exciting enough, we're going to bring GT3s into the mix. I'm so excited. I can't express the level of action that I expect we're going to be seeing in that series. Then, on Sundays, we're going to have our GT3 championship. Again, really great field of around 30 or 40 drivers. Mad skills. Crazy competitive in the front end. And then, to round off all of our ACC leagues, we have once a month 6-hour enduros with box and 949 driver swaps. We'll be announcing the calendar shortly. I mean, again, can't express how exciting that's going to be. And then to close it off, I know the boys are working on a Tuesday night iRacing league as well, on top of the events that they run, the special events that they run coming up, the Nürburgring 24-hour that is going to be fantastic for these guys. Crazy challenge. Can't imagine anything more difficult than 24 hours from Nürburgring. If you have any interest in talking to a real-life racing driver who has done the Nürburgring 24 and is a Daytona 24-hour two-time winner, let me know in chat. Let me know in Discord. We'll see what we could do to make that happen. But let's go back to what's going on in our qualifying. So we have Robert Lewis in P1 for Div 2 with a 52.6. Jose Bravo popping back up to the top in a 53.2. Wasson 53.5. Pickrell 53.6. Beachley 53.7. Masters 54.7. Versosa 55.3. Orozco 55.3. Just 0.07 of a second behind Versosa. Oak 55.7. Smith 57.3. And Barty with a 57.5. Now, as lovely as Mr. Padberg's driving skills are, let's pop in with he who has much to lose, Riley Manier. So, first hot lap, one of two potentially. Is he going to be able to set a good enough time to risk it all in the second lap? So what I've seen drivers typically do is set a relatively safe lap. And I would say that's a pretty good lap at 51.8. That is crazy fast. But is it enough? Is it going to be enough for him to maintain the lead? See Tansky come through. A couple of invalid laps. Reggie King come through and not make it. Kostovich, 4/10 behind. Mastachero, 4/10 behind. So Riley already securing, provisionally securing pole position. With invalid laps from the rest of the crew behind. So pressure is on everyone else. 4/10 is a tall order. Riley already 3/10 up on pole position, provisional pole lap, and is really giving it his all as he goes into the Variante Alta chicane. Only a couple of corners left to secure his pole position, but is pole going to be enough? No. Not only does he need to come in first place, but he also needs Masachero to come in 5th place. So 4th or better for Andres will win him the championship. Provisionally, assuming that I did my math right, which very likely could be wrong. But Riley Menier coming in with a 151.2. Blistering lap from Menier. Blistering. Padberg, 151.5. Kostovic, 152.3. Mastachero up a 10th. Is he going to have enough? No. 4th place. We are on the verge of this, on the edge of this championship, ladies and gentlemen. This is the spot he needs to maintain. If he loses a spot, he will lose the championship. This is amazing. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. Let's go back. Let's go back to the field. Wow. Wow. Okay. To reiterate, if I haven't said it enough, maybe I have. Probably have. Looking at the lovely liveries that our fantastic drivers and artistes painstakingly go through to make. Riley Menier needs to win this race and needs Andres to come in 5th place for him to win the championship. Andres needs to maintain 4th or better to win the championship. So, Riley, if you want to transfer any potential crypto you have over to Mr. Robert Lewis here, a.k.a. Beltan, a.k.a. the Godfather of 949, to go on the inside and try to take that position. No foul play, but just take that position. I'm sure you'll be extremely appreciative. So, let's roll through the grid. Riley Menier, pole position in a blistering 150. Padberg popping in an incredible lap. In 2nd place, Kostovic 3rd, Andres Masachero 4th, Beltan, a.k.a. Robert Lewis from 949 5th, Jerk Snyder 6th, Mike Burkhoff 7th. Great qualifier for him there. Engelman 8th, wrangling that Maserati all the way to the top 10 yet again. Bravo 9th, Provolone 10th, Wassam 11th, Tansky 12th, Pickerel 13th, Reggie King 14th, Beachley 15th, Cronotis 16th, Diego Masachero falling down the ranks here in 17th. I'm sure he'll be trying to fight his way back up. Masters 18th, Versosa 19th in the Soul Alpine, Orozco 20th, Oak 21st, Dylan Smith 22nd, Barney 23rd, Iglesias 24th, and closing out the grid with Denny P in 25th spot in the lovely pastel colored Slow Car Club Porsche.
30 seconds.
Yes, Mr. Beachley, it comes down to this race.
20 seconds.
Comes down to the final race. So far, it looks like it's going to be a dry race. Can the weather change? Yeah, it can. Looking pretty cloudy out there. It's 7 p.m. in game time. 15 minutes to determine the GT4 Winter Championship. Now, preach the words on the hood. Don't die, Mr. Munir. Hopefully you have your pressure set, the correct tires picked, enough fuel selected, because I assure you that Andres Massachero is going to be fighting tooth and nail to ensure that he stays in fourth or better to win the championship. Warm your tires up. Get those pressures up. It is going to be mission critical to try and maximize this race. Had Andres not done such a phenomenal job in race 2, this might have been in the bag for Mr. Munir. Had Riley not had a miserable race 1, it might have been in the bag. Let me say that again. Had Riley not have had a miserable race 1, he might have already had it in the bag. Had Andres not have had a miserable race 2, but making up so many positions to come all the way up to 5th place, Riley would have had it in the bag. But we come down to the last race. Last race of the night. Last race of the season. All or nothing. Riley Munir, Andres Massachero, and everyone in between. We're about to go racing. Unfortunately, it looks like we had someone fail to press the start. That's Dylan Smith starting from the pits there. Coming around the corner. Green, green, green. Looks like Riley gets a really good start, able to maintain that first place position. Andres getting a really good start, immediately going for that third spot. Is Costi going to be kind enough to let him have it? Andres does seem to have a good exit. Costi still really going for it. Has the inside line. Gets a very good corner, Costi. So does have the inside into the next corner, able to maintain it, but we switch back to Andres having the corner. Costi going a little bit wide, giving Jarek the opportunity to come through. Beltan falling down the ranks a little bit, a couple of spots, but Andres looks like he is making his way ahead to secure the third spot. Now, there's only 2 around him if he's able to maintain a delta negative pace to the people behind. However, you do have challenges up ahead, as we see Engelman going a little bit wide. Mr. Padberg is not known to be the most consistent of drivers, albeit he did phenomenal in the previous race, as we see him get a poor exit going defensive against Andres. So Andres being very eager, looking on the inside. Is he going to try to make an early move stick as they do switch back? He goes wide, gives Coasty an opportunity to come back and try to fight this battle and get involved again. As we mentioned, there's the incident dropping Andres down in the ranks. Now we have a race. The patience was not there. He just needed to wait, but failed to do so. Now we see Andres Mastachero dropping down to the 9th, potentially 10th spot, and will have to fight his way through. I see you, Miller. I see you, EM3. I see that lack of patience and the lack of understanding of the overall race, which was required by Andres to win the championship. He has made it extremely difficult for himself, in that lack of patience has dropped him down to 8th position now. He's going to have to fight through Padberg, through Burkhoff, through Bravo, through Lewis to try and make it back up to that 4th spot to try and win the championship, while Riley, with a 4-second gap up ahead, in a comfortable spot. Still possible to make a mistake? Absolutely. Still possible. Anything can happen. However, Mastachero has put himself into a very difficult position now, as he will continue to try to fight Padberg. Padberg going to put up his gloves. He is going to do everything that he can to fight up ahead, because Padberg is trying to do as well as he can in the race. It is for position. He is not going to make this easy for Andres. Andres has a tall order ahead of him. You, sir, are going to have your work cut out for you. We will watch him through the rest of this race. 11 minutes and 41 seconds left. Not a lot of time to make up 4 positions of some, as the West Coasters would say, hella quick drivers. All he needed to do was be patient. He didn't need the position. He wanted it. And that want may cost him the championship, as Padberg will continue to fight tooth and nail to maintain his 7th spot. There's going to be traffic up ahead. This group up ahead is in extremely close contentions. And not only that, but it is led by Jarek Snyder, who is going to be doing the utmost that he can to try and make life difficult for Andres Mastachero as he tries to make it through this extremely competitive pack. As we have Mr. Ali Raza in chat now, another potential contender for the championship, but unfortunately real life things got in the way and he couldn't make it to the races. But you were about 30 points behind, so had you been in a position to win, let's say, all 3 races, you might have been in contention for the championship as well. So that is unfortunate for you, sir, but never fret. We do have another season coming around the corner, in which you will have plenty of opportunity, not only to win the GT3 championship, but also the GT4 championship in the mixed class, or the GT3 championship in the mixed class, but also our mixed class M2 and Porsche Cup championship. As Mastachero looks on the inside, sends it in on Padberg, side by side as they drag race down the hill into the penultimate corner here. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Padberg is not going to make it easy for him. Andres looking on the inside, is able to make the move. Padberg looking to do the switchback, but does not quite have enough. It is a long straight, however, but both of them have the draft. Mastachero now in 7th position. 3 more to go to win the championship. Assuming Riley, who is in a commanding lead, is able to maintain that position. Padberg really trying to make things difficult for Andres. A little bit of a bump. Oh, and he pushes him off. Oh my gosh, that is definitely an incident to review. We'll leave it to the stewards, but is not doing any favors for Andres in his fight for the championship. What a clinical error in not positioning himself and maintaining and keeping the patience to remain in 3rd place. He is not going to give up so easily. I assure you that Andres is going to come back and try and get that spot back. But while we wait for that to happen, while we wait for that gap to narrow back down, let's go back here and see what's going on between Engelman, Tansky, and Wasem, really close to each other. Another battle happening up ahead. So these guys, a little bit of gap, nothing happening quite yet. So let's look at the Burkhoff-Snyder battle over here. Burkhoff really pushing to keep Snyder get that position, that third place position from Snyder. The final podium spot. Snyder on the inside, going into Variante Alta, able to maintain the spot. Going down the hill, he has the power. A little bit sketchy, I agree, Baba Ganoush, but we do have our stewards. We are diligent in ensuring that we try to run the cleanest possible league that we can. Ultimately, it is wheel-to-wheel racing. Things do happen. We are going to try and ensure that we hammer down on some of the incidents that we're not fond of, and I'm sure that that will be reviewed by our stewarding team. However, stewarding team or not, ultimately, the thought is that you need to be in a position to move forward. This is what put Andres in the back foot, in that rather than being patient and maintaining his third spot, sacrificing the win in the race, but winning the championship, he chose to battle Padberg. He chose to go for that spot. He chose to put himself at risk, and it did not pay off. And where is he now? So getting some info here, looks like we have Padberg off. Mastachero making his way up to 6th place. Padberg dropping down to 15th. 2 spots with Robert Lewis and Mike Burkhoff to go. Now, another complexity that's going to be coming into play. Yeah, I mean, you might say that, but Baba, it's not Padberg that's going to be a problem for Andres. It's actually going to be Jarek Snyder, who is actually on Riley's team, who might be dropping down to that 4th place. And should he be dropping down to 4th place, he is going to fight tooth and nail to maintain that 4th position to ensure that Riley wins the championship. So yes, we do have a Bottas-Hamilton situation, and I'm sure we have a very willing Bottas and Jarek Snyder, who is a phenomenal teammate and will be fighting tooth and nail, as we saw him do to maintain the 2nd position in the first race tonight. So we have a little bit of dust up ahead. Looks like Burkhoff might have made a mistake. Robert Lewis making his way through, dropping down a little bit, but not quite enough. Is it enough for Mastachero to gain yet another position with 5 minutes left in the race? There's a lot going on in this race, ladies and gentlemen, but we're going to stick to this championship battle, as it is critical, as looks like Mastachero has had a clinical breaking point to make his way up to 5th position. Andres Mastachero in 5th spot with 1.2 seconds delta to Jarek Snyder, Riley Manier's teammate, in what is the last race of the night, the last race of the season, with 2 laps to go. Is it going to be enough? Is Jarek Snyder going to be able to maintain 4th place? Is he going to try and overtake into 3rd spot and allow Robert Lewis to determine Riley's fate? Let's stick here and see what happens, as Andres very quickly closing the gap, now within a second of the team ahead, as Snyder and Beltan, aka Robert Lewis from 949 Sim Racing, battle. Robert Lewis going wide, potentially giving Snyder the spot. Snyder very eager to take it, now dropping Robert into that 4th position spot. Andres continuing to push. It is up to Robert Lewis now whether Riley Manier takes the championship. He is 1 position away. 2 laps to go. I don't think Eric Miller 3, I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows what's on the line. Masachiro sending it in, trying to get that 4th place, and he gets it. As it stands, if my math is not off, which it could be, Andres Masachiro has made his way back into the championship lead by gaining 4th position. Absolutely, but I don't think they've done the calculations there, Eric. I don't think they've done the calculations. I don't think they have the information at hand, nor do I think they were watching the stream. But now, does Andres Masachiro stay in 4th place, or does he fight for 3rd? I would not listen to my numbers. I would probably still go for 3rd and push for that position, but as I'm sure he's going to do. But we do have Burkhoff coming in hot, making up that delta. Is he going to pressure Andres for that 4th position? Is Burkhoff going to determine the championship? 2 more laps to find out. He's, as Andres makes a little bit of a mistake, giving Burkhoff a bit of a run going into the penultimate corner. Really good run from Burkhoff. Snyder making him a little bit more comfortable and building a little bit of gap to Andres. Andres really pushing hard. Burkhoff pushing even harder. Now they have the straight. Let's stay here and see what happens. Let's go into Burkhoff's view here. What is going to happen here? Are you going to have the speed? 2 more laps. Ooh, that's deep. That's deep. That was close. That was very, very close. Andres must have had eyes on the back of his head to have been able to avoid that collision. Burkhoff being smart as well, going a little wide, but pushing really, really hard. A little bit too hard. And still able to maintain that gap. All right. Let's get in here. A bit of gap to the position behind. So now Andres pushing for that 3rd spot to truly secure his position. As Riley Menier commanding lead up ahead. We're going to ignore him for now. He's got it. Assuming he doesn't make any mistakes. Andres pushing super hard to try and gain this position from Riley Menier's teammate, Jarek Snyder, up in 3rd place. Now, Snyder was able to hold Masachiro behind in race 1 for that 2nd position. Is he going to be able to do the same? Is he going to be able to back Masachiro up enough to give Burkhoff an opportunity to get that 4th place position and potentially win Riley Menier the championship? Right now, as it stands, provisionally, it is Masachiro's championship if I have not miscalculated things. It's really, really close. Leader on the final lap. Masachiro getting a really good draft here, but is the BMW power going to be enough to keep Snyder ahead? He's going to go extremely defensive all the way to the line to ensure that there's absolutely no opportunity for Masachiro to take that inside line, doing what he can to make sure that he keeps Masachiro behind, going wheel to wheel into the 2nd corner. Masachiro trying to switch back, trying to get the inside line for the next turn, but Snyder is still up ahead, doing a phenomenal job defending with all 17 of the elbows that he has to ensure that Masachiro stays behind, and not only behind, but try to push him back into Burkhoff. Masachiro doing a phenomenal job, great pace, really pushing a lot of pressure onto Snyder, but Snyder keeping a calm head, staying ahead as they go up the hill. Excuse me. Snyder yet again maintaining that inside line, trying to put a lot of pressure. Ooh, goes hard into braking. Masachiro on the outside has a lot of speed going there, but now it's going to have the inside line. Is this going to be enough for him to take the position from Snyder? Snyder putting a lot of pressure onto Masachiro. Really don't want to get into contact. It's anything silly. Oh no! Huge slide from Masachiro, but is able to save it and maintain the spot. What a big move by Masachiro, but He does have a lot of speed coming through down the line. Wheel to wheel, brakes early. You know, they're going hard at it, but Snyder is trying to be responsible here. Does give him a little bit of breathing room, but this does secure the position, the third position for Masachero, and almost certainly the championship. What a great save. Clinical, championship winning save. Necessary. However, one more turn. Masachero, absolutely clinical move for him to have secured the championship. Ladies and gentlemen, you see it on the last lap. Securing the championship provisionally, assuming my calculations are correct. Andres Masachero for the Naps team in the Aston Martin. Wow. What a race. Phenomenal performance by Riley Menier. I apologize to all of the drivers that we ignored. A little bit of tomfoolery going on here at the end of the race, which is okay. But wow. As I take this opportunity to take a breath, let's go back. We gotta look at that replay. We gotta look at that replay. What a phenomenal drive by Andres Masachero. Provisional champion, Ali Raza. Hopefully that be the case. But we'll let our admin team, steward team, do all the calculations, put the numbers into Race App, make sure that all of the penalties are implemented. I didn't see anything bad from Masachero, so I am sure that that he will likely maintain the spot. I didn't see anything crazy there, but let's go back and look at the replay. While hopefully we'll get some of our championship winners and race winners into, I'm in totally the wrong screen. The excitement and the adrenaline is still high on my end. I hope you guys enjoyed the race. I thought that what a phenomenal finish to the championship. Let's go and see who we have in our green room. No one yet, as these guys are, I'm sure, hopping around our Discord channels talking about what happened in the race. So, according to my very possibly incorrect calculations, I believe that given the two drives that Andres had from the back and from the incredible risk that he took against young Mr. Jakob Padberg, putting himself on the back foot, making it all the way back up to third place, Mr. Masachero, what a drive of the night, I would say driver of the night, putting himself in a position, in my rough calculations, to win the championship. But let's go back and look at this incredible final lap between, let's look at 2 laps. Let's look at 2 laps. Heck, let's look at 3 laps. We're going to be interviewing for a while, so let's leave it here. Let's go in-car view to see the absolute insane amount of pressure that Andres was putting on these guys. Mr. Riley Menier, congratulations on the win in that last race. But we are all curious to know what happened in the first race. That's what I thought happened. Can you... What? Okay. So, an incredible performance to drive back in the next 2 races. Unfortunately, we believe that given that Andres finished in 3rd place, that might have clinched the championship for him. We don't know for sure. Looks like that's what happened. So we will add up the numbers after the races and see where it ends up. But you guys put on we'll see how it all plays out. All that being said, What a phenomenal final race of the season. I mean, you guys put on such a show, and your clinical finish and something that was necessary for you to do to put all the pressure on Andres of that final race. Didn't put a foot wrong. Unfortunately, couldn't have done the same for all 3 races. It is a bit of a sad moment. However, to an upside, something that Felipe Massa unfortunately never had. Oh, I'm sorry. Apparently we can't hear you. All right. Can you talk again, Riley?
Hello, hello.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Thank you, Ruthless, for catching that early. But so Riley just mentioned that he feels like Felipe Massa, and I would like to take an opportunity to comfort you in telling you that the thing that you have that Felipe Massa doesn't have is you already have some GT4 championships, and you have GT3 championships. Being the phenomenal performer that you've been presently and in the past.
If you're not competing for another one, what's the point?
Absolutely. Right? Just saying that
if you're not upset that you didn't win one, what's the point?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just saying all is not lost.
That comforts me.
Unlike
that's the Lewis Hamilton argument that I just don't need right now.
Unlike Mr. Massa, who never was able to clinch a championship in his career, you got a couple under your belt. But definitely loving the fire. Definitely loving to hear that you're very likely going to come back and try to fight for it again. Because if anyone can do it, you can. Great races tonight. Unfortunate mistakes. But what an exciting race to finish off the season. Congratulations on a phenomenal performance regardless. And we'll see how the points play out. I'm sure there's going to be some contention. All I could say is report your incidents, ladies and gentlemen. Report your incidents. So, Riley, if you could do me the favor, anything you want to say to our viewers, we have a lot of people that have stuck around to watch that final race of the championship. Incredible, riveting race of the championship.
Thank you all so much for coming out and watching. I'm incredibly disappointed, so I really don't have much to say about it. But thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, and Riley, if you could do me a favor and maybe pop some of the guys into the chat. Looking for Engelman, Snyder, Masachero, Andres, of course.
I do not have access.
Okay.
But I can try to. I'll jump down and talk to Engelman real quick.
Yeah, if you could get Miller to pop them up for me, please.
Will do.
Thank you. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As we look through the final couple of laps, is the crazy battle between Snyder and Andres, as he is that incredible quick hands, able to save what ended up being the 3rd position. Now, lots of pressure from Snyder again here on his inside, but conceding the position in fairness. Yeah, James, I would agree with you. I think it's a racing incident, considering it didn't really result in anything massively negative. It's very likely to be ruled in such a manner, but I am sure that there are going to be some incident reports flying around, considering that that we only have a couple of points between the championship contenders here. All right, we have in chat Jarek Snyder, Andres Masachero, Diego Masachero, Jakob Padberg, and Jeremy Engelman. Mr. Engelman, let's start with you. I believe you are provisionally the Div 2 GT4 Winter 2022 champion. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels good. I think I definitely evolved with the car as the season went on and got stronger, and that was the part that I was really focusing on. There's probably a little talk of maybe being in Division 1 or whatever next season if I'm able to make it. Probably not, but yeah, I mean, it felt good to snag the win. It kind of it was a little bittersweet with some of the incidents that we had tonight, but it's just part of the game. I think a lot of people were out there battling hard, probably trying to get one more spot up if they could, and it was just hard racing. But all in all, it was fun. The variable weather tonight was really fun, and the season was fun, and I really ended up liking this car to the point where I might just stick with it for the long haul, even if we start with the multi-class.
Yeah, so I think we mentioned a couple of times, I think your progression through the season has been phenomenal. In the Maserati, nonetheless, your ability to hone that car in has been awe-inspiring. So congratulations, well-deserved win in the Maz, nonetheless, with no traction control, no ABS, no support. But as mentioned in chat, a deep, husky voice to propel you to the Div 2 championship. Congratulations.
Thank you much.
Let's go to our Div 1 contenders. I would like to start with Mr. Snyder. So you were put into a position to have the incredible task of defending against your teammates' championship contender in both race 1 and in race 3. Why don't you talk us through some of the pressure Andres was putting on you?
Oh, man. There was pressure from all around. There's pressure from Riley. I know he really wants that win. Pressure from Andreas, because he was definitely faster than me in most situations. And then there were some really good pressures from plenty of other cars, too. I know Mike was one of them. Robert Lewis was a good fight. Man, I was just focusing on doing my best. Trying to put all that out of my mind.
So one of the
Not
things
let anybody.
So one of the things we talked about, and we're wondering, were you aware that the 4th position that you were holding in the final race was the position that Andres was fighting for? Yeah, so that's a yes. So effectively getting ahead of Robert Lewis put the hands of the fate of the championship in his hands as opposed to yours.
Yeah,
but
that wasn't... Well, not necessarily. It would have been the same either way with Lewis, since he was Div 2.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Something I didn't take into consideration, I guess. Yeah. No, so yeah, there's more to it than what we see. So the championship might be even closer than I thought. So you're correct. All that being said, what a phenomenal drive from you. Great spots. I think you ended up being second in the first race and pretty good places through the next races. So congratulations on that. Let's go to our race 1 winner, Diego Masachero, first race of the season. How does that feel?
Man, after 2 seasons, I finally get my race win, man. It feels so good.
So we have taken multiple opportunities to comment on your improvement through the season. With the easiest comparison being your brother, and I'm sure you get this all the time, but you have shown some incredible pace improvement through the season, oftentimes challenging your brother, sometimes even out qualifying him. Tell us how that feels.
I mean, there's always been a rivalry, since we were younger, but
Since birth?
I mean, he's always, pretty much, but he's gonna get the edge, and I'll try to not let him get the edge, but for right now, I may have a couple good laps, but he's in the end, he can always put it together more than I can. It's probably just something I gotta work on, but I always take it as a learning experience from him, especially.
So yeah, I mean, we've been loving seeing you improve your performance, and even more so coming out with a win tonight. So congratulations. 2 long seasons of waiting. Hopefully it won't be the last one.
Nah, yeah, I hope definitely not. It felt good to get that win. I'm gonna try it for it again.
Absolutely. Let's go to our race 2 winner, Jakob Padberg. Jakob, how was that second race for you?
It was very fun. It was very nice. I tried to not do the last lap, so I tried braking, but that ended up closing the gap between me and Riley. But overall, it was just a fun race.
So why
Very
don't
difficult.
why don't you tell us about the third race there? So it looks like a little bit of ambition from Mr. Mastachero, from Andres over there, and getting into some contact with you. And I think you were putting a lot of defense up there, and maybe some of your, let's call it, inconsistency or lack of experience in the game was leading to some worrisome moments. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I can confirm that sometime I do think I will be getting a penalty for one of the actions I made, but between me and him, it was just a battle, and I think my inconsistency got to me. But yeah, it was a fun battle though.
Yeah, it was really great to watch, and we look forward to seeing you improve that over the off season and coming back stronger and better before. Because clearly your 1 lap pace is there, and we're looking for some improvement on your racecraft, as I'm sure you'd agree, and you are very capable of achieving. And without further ado, our provisional championship winner, Andres Mastachero. You did not make it easy for yourself tonight, did you?
I, for the lack of I messed up that that freaking qualifying too, man. Oh, I had to fight from the very, very far back, and that was not fun. I don't know what I don't know. I just messed up. I pushed too hard, you know. The pressure got to me. It got to my head.
So, we saw you fight back. What an epic drive for you in race 2. What a great drive in race 1. Clinical defense by Snyder, not allowing you to get that second position, really making it tight in that third race. And then you go ahead and make the decision in the third race that you're going to battle aggressively against Padberg. What happened there? What was the thought?
Well, I don't know. I thought it was quicker through the corners with Patberg, but obviously great defense maneuvers were happening. I had to, you know, if he stuck his elbows out, I was going to stick my elbows out. That's sort of the mentality that I was going to bring into the table for this last race, because I needed to be, you know, I'm fighting for the championship win, and you know, if I race the way other people race with me, I guess you could say it like that. Like if someone's a little bit more aggressive, then I'll tone up my aggression a little bit. But um, most of the time, I'm pretty respectful of, you know, the boundaries of my car. I give space. I guess, you know, whatever it is. I try to race clean. But yeah, with Paterberg, it was definitely a tough fight. I don't say it was a bad fight. I think rubbing is racing in some cases, and I think in this case it was a lot of rubbing, a lot of rubbing through the straights, trying to, you know, edge each other out. And I think a couple of those times maybe I was holding my line, and I don't know, maybe a little bit of too much contact, and it led us to both, you know, lose a ton of positions in that third race. And then I think I was just, you know, at that point, you know, my heart kind of sank. I was like, oh man, there goes the championship, right? Because we went, I don't know how many, we dropped a couple positions back, right? I think it was like 4 or 5 positions.
Yeah, you
Maybe.
were down into 9th, I think 8th or 9th. So, but
Yeah.
coming back to your battle with Padberg, were
Yep,
you? Did you have in mind? So I get the every action has an equal and opposite reaction. However, did you consider that the risk for you losing the championship was far greater than the risk of Padberg losing anything out, more than a position in the race?
Well, to be honest, I felt like I was battling a full squad. It was a 1v3 situation. That's what it felt like. I got Snyder. I got to catch up to Manier. I had Paterberg that was putting up one hell of a defense, and I was fighting for the points, right? So, at that point, what do you do? Like in my head, what are you supposed to do as a race car driver? Do you just concede and say, "Oh, I'm going to lose the championship," or do you at least try?
Were you aware
And
that if you
you know,
had maintained your position, you could have won the championship?
for which one?
If you just stayed in that spot.
Yeah, yeah, but I was tapped. I believe I was we were. I don't know what happened, to be honest, in the third race. It's all the blur now, but I believe I I don't know what happened in the first corner. Maybe I lost out to Paterberg, and so I had to fight more to get back on, you know, increase the pace a little bit,
Yeah.
and then and not try to ruin with track cuts. I don't know if you saw near the very end to catch up to Snyder. All the
Oh.
track outs were done, all of them.
Yes.
to try to get it. I mean, I had to, right? Like this is you have 3 chances, 3 opportunities to sort of push on the last 2 laps. It was, and if I don't know if Manir slowed down enough. I don't know if he could have or couldn't have to finish 1 lap earlier. I would have lost. That was
That's
it.
true.
You tried to.
I tried to. I broke on the start finish straight and still passed the line.
Oh my God! It was it. I was
With 2
literally
seconds.
looking at that timer. I was looking at that timer. I
Oh
said, "Man,
my
if he stops, I'm
God.
screwed." Yeah, that was the last lap. I had to go for it, right?
So
I
it,
just added up the scores preliminarily, and it looks like Riley wins by 2 points.
Oh.
Check that. I don't think that's correct.
so it's close. It's needless to say it's close.
It's
we'll have
close.
to
It
we'll
was a
have to
good
go
battle.
through the incidents.
If
We'll
I
have to
lose
go
the
through the
provisional,
race.
if I lose the podium
But
post race, I am going to race next season and try again.
whatever it was, guys, whatever it was, wherever this ends up going, you guys put on a phenomenal show. A great race by all of you guys. So thank you so much. About to close it up here. Any final words? Let's start with you, Riley. Maybe potentially the championship winner, depending on how the numbers play out.
I think it's really close. If it is me, then great. If it's not me, then fine. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just
You
happy
guys
enough
each-
to be able to have competed in this. Like, that. Like, I was out of it completely in the last few races, and like, to come back and have a chance there, at the end after like the last 4 rounds where I felt like I was just on fire. I was really pumped about that. To even have a shot at the championship was like just a blessing. So, thank you.
You
Diego?
guys both got 96 points at Imola.
Both got 96 points. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
These positions are worth more for like,
Oh
the
my
top
God.
5 or something. There's a spot where they're worth go up by 4, and there's a spot where they go up by 2, depending on where you are in the standings.
Well,
How?
So
Wait.
we'll let the numbers play through, Chrono. I'm sure you're right, but we'll let the numbers play through in Race App and let those calculations go through. But
Didn't think
wow,
I was that bad at math, but damn. Wow.
I thought- yeah, I thought-
School.
Yeah, I went before when we looked at the sheets. I thought we had calculated our side too. So I don't know.
we'll see.
We'll have to
We'll
see.
we'll see
Yeah,
how the
we'll
numbers
see.
I
play.
don't know
We'll
where it
see,
is
yeah.
team championship wise either.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's
I
another
haven't even
battle.
worried
So
about
Let's go pull that up. I'm gonna go get that right now.
so Diego, any final words from you?
Congrats to my brother. Deserves it this season. I mean, I don't think he made any huge mistakes. Yeah, it's a fun season. Had a lot of fun with Snyder, Jet. I mean, I think I raced with people from 2nd place down to like 15th place, and honestly, this is insanely different than public lobby racing. So I'm always grateful for that.
Thank you for saying that, and I will say on our end, thank you to V for providing a livery that we actually doesn't hurt our eyes while we watch you guys race, because you guys are
Oh,
always, always competitive, and it's nice to see a livery that is worth looking at. So
At
thank
least
you
10
guys.
horsepower.
10 horsepower, absolutely. Snyder, anything from you?
Nothing for me. Looking forward to all the fun we have planned next season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, same. Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of multi-class. Oh man, I'm excited.
So just to reiterate, Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, M2 Porsche Cup Multiclass, ! Discord to join our Discord and find out more on where everything is. Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Multiclass, GT4s and GT3s. Sundays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, GT3 Championship. Once a month, Saturday, 6-hour Enduros driver swap, multi-class. And then finally, our iRacing series, which was run on Tuesdays, is still being locked down, so more information to come on there. Join us. Join our friends over at Box. Join our friends over at 949 Sim Racing, ! 949. and we hope to see you in our future championships. As you can tell, some incredible racing, incredible drivers. And to close it off, Mr. Musachero, you get to say the final words.
Ultimately, absolute battling with everyone on Trackalicious. It's been a phenomenal time. It's like honestly, these last few races have been one of the funnest races with Manir, with everybody that's been that we battled with. It's been an absolute blast, and I thank you so much for the opportunity, and I can't wait to do it again next season. Hopefully, you boys are still in the GT4s, so we don't.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
okay, perfect. All right, let's do it. Let's do it next season again. I'm excited.
A little bit of
And
pre-planning here from the crew.
and of course, I can't wait to race with my brother again. I think he's learned a lot, and I can't. Let's go. Let's go for a second one. Why not?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you enjoyed the race. Hope you enjoyed the championship. That being said, we're going to throw it out to some of our ACC friends out there. Thank you so much. Be sure to check out our Discord, check out our website, trackalicious.com, check out our YouTube, trackalicious.com/c/trackalicious, or I should say youtube.com/c/trackalicious. Thank you to all the drivers. Thank you to all of the followers. Thank you to all the viewers. Sim Racing Squad, you have yourselves a good night, good day, good evening, wherever you are. See you on the next one.
Later.
Catch you boys later.
GG.
Light variable tackling.
Yeah. Yeah.